know, um, I'm going to say, forgive me one more time, because I am tonight working with a new piece of software, and this is all brand new, completely and totally. So I'm making my way through this as best I can. We had been having issues with the software, and then the electronics not liking one another. All right. And since we've been having those problems, it was quite necessary for me to look to another platform in order to make this happen for us in the way that we like for it to happen, right? And let's see, hold on. Okay, just wanted to check something real quick. And I wanted to make sure that we were able to do this in the fashion that we like for it to happen in. And so I'm on a brand new piece of software, and so far I'm liking it. I'm just now doing this, and I want to apologize. I haven't taken the time to get out here and be with everybody and kind of let you know what's going on. And so, you know, in a way, this is kind of new, kind of good, because, you know, we're able to get out here tonight and try to talk about some things. Now tonight, family, what I want to talk about with you is our parents. Okay? I think I'm going to have to go here tonight, talking about our parents. There are those of us in our community that are not honoring our mothers and our fathers. You're not honoring them. If your mother or your father is in a nursing home, a hospital, if they're not at home with you and you're not making an effort to be with them every day, you're not honoring your mother and your father. Now I know there's a bunch of you that's going to get mad and say that I'm wrong. But let me ask you this. For the majority of people, because I can't say everyone, but for the majority of people, our parents were there for us, right? For the majority of people. Now, it wasn't that way for everyone. It most certainly wasn't that way for me. I can assure you, my childhood was not stellar. However, I did what most young men do. I discovered myself in the streets of Los Angeles. I discovered myself on the streets of Southern California. I discovered all of the traps that were set for us to fall into, and I got a chance to watch a lot of my friends fall into those traps. I did not fall into those traps. Didn't get the mad prison sentences and all of those things. Consider myself lucky? No. But I still was in the system. I was in the shelter homes, foster homes, finally California Youth Authority. They were trying to groom me for prison, but I didn't see prison until much later. I was in my 40s when I finally saw prison. Late 40s, as a matter of fact. And that was because they had been trying to get me for so long that, and not like I was doing anything and I was on the run, but you see, there's an agenda to lock us up. And I was a target that kept moving on them. And whenever they did get me in their hands, I always had a lawyer who got me out of their hands. Because we're not supposed to have lawyers. We're supposed to have public pretenders, and those are the individuals that make sure we get the cases that we get and the time that we get, the public defender. So I was smart enough to listen to men who would go on to become the mayors of Los Angeles. I was smart enough to listen to men who would go on to become founding fathers in the city, so to speak. They were mayors and senators of the state, or state senators, because you have the federal ones also. State senators I met, high-powered lawyers. I was running in a small circle of people that were able to give me the protection that I needed, and told me how to stay out of the grips of the system. But by the time these individuals got their hands on me, those men were long gone. And it was up to me to teach the men who were coming behind me some of the things these gentlemen said. And it's hard to get us to listen to us. Therefore, a lot of brothers went by the way. And I was resigned to just make sure that I did not. Having grown up in the system, I knew how to sidestep a lot of the issues, and a lot of our brothers would just continue on to the revolving door situation. And that revolving door can really be a problem for a lot of us, a lot of times. And because it is a problem a lot of times, we don't know how to get out of it. Most brothers don't know how, they have no idea how to get out of it. Because it's not manly to stop thugging or hustling. But it is manly, and that's how you get out of it. So, I have come a long way in my lifetime. I've been walking with the Most High ever since I was 19 years old. Because that was one of the secret ingredients in the sauce that kept me out of the prison systems in these United States of America. So, my mother didn't protect me from that. As a matter of fact, she threw me to the wolves. And I can't say that was the best thing she did, but it certainly did make a man out of me quick and fast, because I was in the system. My sister and I both went into the system. I think I was second grade when a lot of this first occurred. So I'm saying this to say, I said to my mother when I was a little guy that I don't care what you say to me, I don't care what you do to me, I'll never leave you hanging. And I haven't. Since March 9th, my mother had an episode, major, and of a fashion that she no longer has the use of her right side. It was not a stroke, but very similar to one. I had a stroke in 2011, February February 11th, 2010. My mother had an abdominal aortic aneurysm February 15th, 2010. I got a phone call laying in the hospital bed that my mother did die on the table, and they resuscitated her. And I got up out of the hospital bed and drove 700, 800 miles to be at my mother's side. 4 days on the stroke. Pastors tried to stop me, brothers tried to stop me, but my brother Carl and Pastor Ben packed up a U-Haul truck for me with all of my stuff. And they said, you know what? Keep your telephone on and call us every hour. Let us know where you are and how you doing. And so that's what I did until I got to my mother's side. That man and that brother have been in my life ever since. And they will probably watch this video and can attest to that. From that point on, I moved into this, well, I was in this little town already. And I brought Mama up there, and we're here. And we just recuperated and lived together. It wasn't the best all the time, because you see, we didn't have that mother-son relationship like that. I always wanted it, but we didn't have it like that. And I figured, what better time for us to mend the broken bridges, and me try to be a son and her try to be a mother after all these years. And I explained to her that I really didn't need a mommy, I just needed a friend. I'm grown now, you don't have to buy drawers for this booty. I work full time. You know, I play music, I got instruments everywhere, and you know, I'm a man, I'm not a boy. You remember the little boy, but I'm a man now. You gotta give me that space. And people have a tendency not to give you that space. Like if you separate it between 9 and 12 and say 12, 15 years go by, when you guys get back together, the dynamic is you're 9 and you're 12 again. Because that's the last thing I remember of you. And when we start dealing with one another, that's where it starts, until one person realizes, oh, we're grown now, or you both realize, oh, we're grown now, and you let that stuff go. Well, that happened between my sister and I. We were separated at 9 and 12, and when we came back together, we were in our 20s, and she started dealing with me like I was 9, and I kept reminding her that she was no longer 12. And so it was my sister that helped me understand that dynamic. So same thing happened with Mama when she came back to me. After all of those years that we were separated, not living together, not talking. So I got, from 2008, we were talking, 2009 or 2009 is when she said she could no longer live on her own or something like that. But we didn't actually live together until after my stroke and her AAA. From the end of 2010 to 2011 going forward, up until now, we lived together. When I got into this place, it took her about 2 or 3 months to get here, because she couldn't decide if she really wanted to move from her senior facility into here with me. And but she came. I've often had to remind her, remember, it was you who told me that you couldn't live on your own, and I came and got you. So, on March 9th, Mom had an episode that incapacitated her to the point where she's in a place now where she needs 24-hour care. And so I say all of that to say this. I had to give you the backstory. Some of you guys know the backstory, but I had to give you some of it so you can understand. There's 2 of us, a sister and myself. So since 2015, I've been in this place here since 2015. End of 2015. No, end of 2014, beginning of 2015. So we had our so-called New Year's here. It was 2015 when I had my epiphany out on that porch out there. And it was the end of 2014, beginning of 2015 when I was out there going nuts. And I have a sister who I've been trying to... Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, folks. I've been up all day. I just left Mama a little while ago. And I'm coming home and sat down and said, you know what, let me try to do this new software and see if I can make this happen. And so it's not the best, and trust me, I'm a pretty good pilot, but I don't want this ride to be too rocky. All right. So anyway, I went over to Mom when I came back here, but the whole idea is what I am going through right now. What I'm going through right now. And I'm going to try not to be emotional about this as I tell you what I'm going through, because this is difficult. Every time I try to explain to someone what I'm actually going through. Sometimes I feel like I'm lost in a tunnel all by myself. And it's so dark you can't see the entrance or the exit. And sometimes I bump into walls. I'm not perfect. Nor do I pretend to be. Sometimes people look at me and they think I've got it all together. And trust me, that's just a facade. When I leave out of here, I'll be transparent to you guys, because you'll understand what I'm talking about. But the rest of the world doesn't understand culture and heritage when it comes to us. And when we put that culture and that heritage in their face, they start saying that we're being racist. It's not our fault that you don't know anything about culture and heritage. It's not. What I know, even though I wasn't raised fully by my mother, I've had other people in my life that have taught me things about this thing called being black. And I'm not black, but that's the construct that they have us in. This is black. You see the difference between it and my hand? My hand is not. The shirt that I'm wearing is white. I can guarantee you, if you hold your hand up against it, you will not be white. It's a construct. So people have gotten used to everything being black and white instead of what you really are. So I try not to use the black and white construct. I'll say melanated or pinkies, because really our more fairer skinned brothers and sisters are pink. They're not white. Some of them, because of the recessive nature of that gene, has them looking or appearing to be pasty. But even pasty is not white. Lady walked by me today. She had arms about the color of the inside of my arm. Okay, because you know we're darker on the outside than we are on the inside. And my family, I have a lot of very, very bright people. My legs are way. If I didn't have the California sun in my face, I know I could, in a lot of cases and instances, I could pass. They'd have to look at the shape of my nose and the way that I speak in order to be able to tell, but I can pull that off pretty well too, except for the shape of my nose. this lady's been riding a horse, so she has what they call a reverse cowboy tan, or something crazy like that. But I think that's what they call it, a reverse cowboy tan. So what happened is that we were standing out, and she walked by me, and I'm like, what's wrong with your legs? Because it's been a long time since I've seen a pasty white leg. I'm looking at her leg like, like something's wrong. I'm like, what's wrong with your legs? And she says, she was out riding a horse. She was riding her horse, and she didn't have any sun. She said her legs do not tan, and she said what'll happen is I'll burn, and then I'll peel, and then it'll go away, and I'll be all white again. Is what she said. And so I said what I normally say: you're not white. And she didn't understand what I was talking about. I said, if I slap your leg's going to turn pink. When all the blood rushes into the place I just slapped your leg, you're pink. So even she could stand next to a piece of paper and not be white. Okay, this is even whiter than my shirt. But the point of the matter I'm making is that it's a construct. So when we start talking about culture and heritage, we're only talking about our culture. We're only talking about our heritage. We're not talking about black and white. So when you guys get on that tip about black and white, that's not what we're talking. We're not talking about black or white. We're talking about culture and heritage. And a part of our culture and a part of our heritage is we take care of our own. When our old people get sick, the family takes care of them. That's our culture. That's our heritage. That's what we do. We were never known to put our family members away into a facility and let them stay there and rot. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. We've never been those people. We've never ever been those people. But there are those who do that. And it's not us. We didn't start picking up those habits, and we picked them up from the Pinkies. We picked them up from the Pinkies because we always want to live like you guys live. Hold on, grab a battery. We want to eat your diet. We want to date your women. We want to drive your cars. We want to be like you. And what happens is that every time we do leave our culture and our heritage, we get in trouble doing the things that you do. We are not supposed to be doing the things that you do. And our scriptures say so. We're not supposed to be following in the way of the Gentiles. And our scriptures say so. We're supposed to be a holy and separated people. And our scriptures say so. We're supposed to live differently than everyone else around us. And our scriptures say so. And we used to live that way, so what happened? What happened was convert to Christianity or die. What happened was convert to Christianity or your children will be sold into slavery. What happened was, we fell so far away from our Elohim that the Abrahamic dream came true, and the children were snatched from the arms of their parents, and they were forcibly baptized and sold into slavery. And Deuteronomy 28 became true for the house of Israel, the children of Judah. The transatlantic slave trade happened, and here we sit today. And for so long, we didn't have access to nursing homes, and we didn't have that stuff. That was saved for our more fair-skinned brothers and sisters, parents of the pinkies. Until civil rights happened and Negroes got uppity because they got some things, got government jobs, started making $9 an hour. And $9 an hour was good money back then because there was a lot more value to the dollar. That's why bread could cost a nickel, because there was a lot more value to the dollar. A nickel had a whole lot of value to it. But we took care of our own, right? We didn't have places to put that. My grandmother was buried in a cemetery. And this is 1996. My grandmother was the first black person buried in this cemetery. They had just opened it up to black people in 1996. That cemetery had been segregated that long. Black people could not be buried in that cemetery in 1996. So we didn't start getting this way until we decided that we wanted to live like the Joneses. But I always knew whatever happened to my parents, I was going to try to be there. From my dad, who never let me in. He knew I was his son. He acknowledged I was his son. But when he died, he didn't leave nothing on the table for me. And I wasn't expecting anything, and you can't miss what you never had. But what's going on now with Mama is, for the last 5 years, I have had her with me. And I might not be able to hold this together. This is why you haven't seen me, why I haven't been around, why I haven't been out here doing what I normally do, is because behind the scenes I've been struggling with my mother. And doing the best I can, y'all. I'm not the good son, or I could have been better. But maybe I should have been better. But in my younger days, I didn't know how to build relationship with Mama. And nor does she know how to build relationship with her children. And I'm at that point right now where I'm getting an opportunity to be in her life and have been in her life for the last 5 years. Good or bad, it is what it is. I wouldn't trade that for the world. So, I have a sibling, and Mishpachah, I want you guys to tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, I'm this kind of guy. If I'm wrong, I can take it. You can tell me, man, you're out of order. You know, I know how to go and tell you guys thank you and I'm sorry to you and repent to the Father. I mean, but if you think I'm out of line with what I'm saying, then tell me I'm wrong. Let me know. If anybody wants to mediate for me, please do. Thank you to all of you who have been praying for Mama, who know about what I've been going through. So thank you. I haven't even gotten to what's really going on yet. I have a sibling. I look at it like this. For 3 of the 5 years that Mom has been with me, my mother stopped bathing. And older people do this when they're afraid of falling in the showers. Okay, they have these cloths that you can actually bathe with for seniors. Okay, and I didn't know that my mother was struggling with that. I had been wanting to clean her room, and she would tell me to get out of the room, get out of the room, get out of the room. And I didn't know what she was struggling with. This is what I say. This is exactly why I say I'm not the good son. I have my faults too. So whether she forgot to tell me, or whether she was embarrassed to tell me, I was complaining because she wouldn't let me clean her room, and her room was a mess. And when I did go in there to clean it, I was disgusted with it. I cleaned it anyway, but and she was so private about it that she would she'd call the police on me if I tried to get into her room to clean it. And then the cops would come out here. I've told you guys this story before. Cops would come out here and try to treat me like I was just some lowlife living off of his mother. And they had no idea what I was living through or going through. And one would come in here and he'd have his hand on his gun, and the other one would come in here and he would threaten me. Well, if she feels threatened, you know, he can put you in handcuffs. And dude, you were in my house, dude. So anyway, see, in hindsight, looking back, I see the bigger picture now. She was never able to tell me. Maybe she was embarrassed to tell me. But here's what I know. I needed my siblings' help with my mother. And my sibling would not come. And the only reason that I would not help my mother with her showers is because my scriptures talk to me about uncovering my father's nakedness. My mother is my father's nakedness. Whether they're divorced or not, that was her husband. For me to see my mother, I was having a hard enough time when I did find her and she was naked to even have to see her in that condition to help her. And I was embarrassed the whole time looking at my mother naked. I don't want to see that. That's not my business. My sibling was supposed to be here helping me with that. And my sibling told me. We got an argument about this last night. She probably watch this video and get mad because I told the truth. You know, and my family has a hard time with taking the doggone truth. I'll tell them the truth and I don't care. So you can tell me anything about me. You can tell me anything about me. I can take it and I'll go back and I'll get with the Father. I'll be like, man, is that for real? real? Is that me? Is that me for real? But my family can't take the truth. And my sibling told me, I have a life now. I am not coming. And I'm like, Mama hasn't had a bath in 3 years. She's using these little cloths. I need you to help me. I have a life now, brother. I'm not coming. And I told her. She's going to get mad. I don't care. I told her, no, you got to do with a little blue pill that gives a 4-hour. That's what you got. And I'm telling you, I said it. I cut it short for you guys, but I said it to her. That's my sister. That's what you got. You got to do with a blue pill and a 4-hour. That's your life. That's what you got. That's why you're not coming. 58, 55 years, however old she was. How old were you then? 56, 57. Screwing like a little rabbit, like you a teenager. And your mama needs you. And you wasn't coming. You said, I'm not coming. So when I told her this last night, why are you playing these mind games? I'm not playing a mind game. That's what you said. I hate you always trying to do this. Why you always act like you know so damn much? I'm not acting like I know anything. Those were your words. You said that. I have a life now. I'm not coming. And then she said, I tried to get her to come here with me. I said, oh, so when did you try to get her to come there? See, because she doesn't live where she used to live. But she had a Freudian slip, and she said, I tried to get her to come here. I said, oh, you tried to get her to come to Colorado? You know what I meant. Why are you playing? I'm like, I don't know what you meant. Those are the words that came out of your mouth. I'm listening to you talk. You telling me. You wouldn't let her come. I said, of course I wouldn't let her come. Listen, my mother was smoking cigarettes. She wasn't stopped smoking. She wouldn't stop. She was already coughing up phlegm in her lungs, which means her lungs were compromised. That means that she had diminished lung capacity. Now you want to take her to Texas, where the humidity is high, and fill her lungs up with water so that she even has less lung capacity? Are you kidding me? See, selfishness causes you not to think. And with your inability to think, you can't even comprehend common sense. That your mother's health was not even an issue because you was more concerned about that little blue Viagra pill. You wouldn't leave it, but you would bring your mama to you, and you know what? My mama would have died there. Thank the Most High, she didn't go. So when you had your slip, I told her to come here. Oh, really? You said come to Colorado? You know what I mean? Why you always acting like that? Because you never said Colorado. I'm listening to your words. I knew where you were. You're the ones who said it, not me. I'm listening to what you said. I'm sitting here listening. You're the one talking. You getting mad at me for pointing it out? It's not my fault. You said it. You said it. But that's what she said to me, and she never came. The reason for the argument is that now, and I told her in no uncertain terms, you reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. You put dirt out, you get dirt back. Whatever the universe has for you, however you want to say it, the law of reciprocity, however you want to say it, that's what's going on with her now. Now her son has to take care of her because she's that ill. Me, the baby son of my mother's taking care of my mother. My sister, just a year and some change older than me, is also sliding around on banana peels that her son has to take care of her. Now, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just showing you the picture here. This is what's going on. Because now I'm hearing, brother, I sure wish I could be there to help you. You know, you're doing good and you're all by yourself, but I really wish I could be there to help you. And I'm like, oh, really? And you should have been here. No, well, yeah. But when I tried to get you to come and help me, and you told me you had a life now. And that's when the back and forth started. That I'm messing with your mind. I always act like I know so damn much. I hate when you do this. Why do you do this? What am I doing? I didn't do anything. You said it. I'm just showing you what you said. Because had you been here, I'm not saying that what happened to Mama would not have ever happened. But had you been here, she would have been getting proper baths. All the way down to the point of you would be here now. We would all be right here when this happened. But those who leave this place, California, act like they found so much greener grass somewhere else and they don't want to come back. And she did not come back. And now our mother is gravely ill. And now you want me to believe that you really wish you could be here. I find that hard to believe. Because if you really wanted to be here, you would have got here. So family, if you have family that is ill, mother, daddy, whatever, the scriptures say you honor your mother and your father. That means you stay with them until they're in the ground, sleeping with our fathers. My mother didn't give me a whole lot. My father gave me nothing more than my name. My father gave me the bullet. I was the bullet he shot. And I swam faster than everybody, and I got to that egg first, and I got in. And Mom gave me that life. Now, once I got here, it wasn't the greatest, but I'm here. And a lot of us can say this. A lot of you youngsters, some of your parents is crazy, and you're trying to figure out why your family is crazy, and why your brother or your sister is crazy. It's because of the social engineering that has occurred to us since we've been here. You got family who won't stop thugging. They can't. They've been socially engineered to thug. And they'll teach their sons how to thug, and their grandsons how to thug, and they'll think it's cool and a badge of honor to go to jail. But captivity is captivity, and slavery is slavery, and we're still in captivity, and we're still being slaved. If you don't believe me, just look at the brothers in prison working for 75 cents an hour. And you tell me that's not slavery. We got brothers in prison that go off and fight the most dangerous fires around this country. I know. I did that when I was in California Youth Authority, which wasn't in the correction system at the time. It was just a place for troubled kids. Troubled kids, not troubled kids, but troubled kids. The troubled kids, they sent them straight to jail. The troubled kids, they tried to rehabilitate you in a way that you would be a functioning member of society once you come out of the shelter home or foster home or juvenile hall system. Juvenile hall wasn't for delinquents back in the day. It is now, but it wasn't. But anyway, I'm dealing with my mom, and I'm by myself. And again, whether she forgot to tell me or she couldn't tell me or whatever it was, I understand now some of these issues that she was going through. I knew that there was some dementia going on there, but I couldn't get a doctor to evaluate her, because in this county the seniors can live very independently, and you might see something, but they think that you want assets or you're after something. I'm sure someone has probably pulled that off, and that they think that that's usually what's going on. Because when I went to go conserve Mama, they were like, well, you have to give her a paper to sign to say that she knows you're conserving her. So I handed them 3 papers from doctors that indicate she can't even make her own decisions. I'm like, so how, if she can't make her own decisions, how is she going to understand what I'm doing to try to save her and help her? And so when I went after the nursing facility that she was in, when I went down there and got in their butts about her care because she was so far away. They were doing things to her that I had no idea. They were drugging her, is what I'm saying. They were sedating her to keep her quiet. But in them sedating her, they took a lot of wind out of her sails, keeping her drugged up. I would show you the picture, but I don't want to. That's a horrible picture. I had to take it because it's part of my proof of what they were doing to her. I can't tell you how ripped up I am about this road that I've been going down with my mom. But it's been an emotional roller coaster. So when I have to throw the picture up, it's because I need to get myself together. So uncovering my father's nakedness. I'm not supposed to see my mother naked at all, period, point blank. Okay. And it's in our scriptures. It's not what we do. See, I'm talking culture and heritage. It has nothing to do with black or white. That's culture or heritage. I'm not supposed to uncover my father's nakedness. Simple. That's a law and a condition we live under. You know. So anyway, my sibling never came, and Mama went down. And I told you guys what happened and how I found her. And when I found her, she was naked. And I left her room thinking that, you know, she was getting dressed. I didn't know anything was wrong. I opened the door and I went in to, she said, come here, and I went in and she was naked. And so I started backing out of her room and closed the door. I don't want to see you naked. And she had that episode. So when I came home and when everything was still the same, that's when I was concerned, and I had to call the ambulance and I had to go in there and be involved. And she was naked the whole time, and so I, was trying to, she didn't have anything out to cover her up with. But when the paramedics got here, I had my sister on Messenger to let her see what was going on the whole time. I'll show you what's going on. You can tell me whatever, but I got the camera up for you to see what's going on with our mother. Because you see, she doesn't call me. Hey brother, how you doing? I don't get those calls. I'm the one that always calls. And since Mama's been in this condition, it's always me calling, putting her on Messenger so she can talk to Mama. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. You know what time I get off work. You know generally about what time I'm going to get over to Mama. And you don't call. So when my father died, I told my sister, when this is over, I won't see you no more. And then I said the other day, you know how I am. When I cut you off, I cut you off. Like the last time y'all didn't see me for 20 years. She was like, 20 years. I was like, yeah, well, 17 years, so you might as well say 20. When I say I'm done, I'm done. When I shake you like a dirty rug, I'm out. And I tell people all the time, when I burn rubber and I cut you off, don't expect to see me again. So I have to stay involved with you now because that's our mother. But man, after this, I don't even know if I want to see your face again. And that's why I'm saying to you guys, okay, if I'm wrong, just let me know. Just if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I can take it, and give me some scriptures to help me understand, that I shouldn't feel this way. I heard one of our brothers teaching today, and see, and here's my thing, and here's one reason why I don't want to just cut anybody off, because I often think like this, what if the Most High just cut us? Well, he did just cut us off, but he didn't cut us off like forever. He said that he would cut us off and that he would save a remnant unto himself. Okay, a remnant is a small piece of what used to be very large in there. So if I had 100,000 people and I walk away with 3 guys and 3 girls, that's enough of the seed to start over again. So 12 guys, 12 girls, however, it's enough of the seed to start over again without having to do the incest thing. I mean, there's, So anyway, that's my dilemma with that one. I often wonder, what if the father looked at me that way and just said, you know what, I'm tired of you, man. You playing too many games, and then just cut me off for a while. So that's my struggle. I don't want to have to be that guy, but I'm really, 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 really frustrated with family and what I'm going through. And I've been going through this by myself when you had every opportunity to step up and do what you needed to do to be here and be that role for our mother. And you left me by myself to deal with this. And when she passes, I will be by myself dealing with this. And I know that I will. And so I'm harboring. I said I wasn't going to do it at the beginning of the year. I said I didn't want to have to harbor no animosity. I don't want to be mad with the family. I don't want to be beefing with you guys. I said at the beginning of the year. But these Negroes won't leave me alone. They keep putting my emotions out here, and I keep wanting to go to war. I told my brother, I'm not a humble man. I've always wanted to be humble, and I've always tried to be humble, but because of the way I grew up, I had to fight all the time and fight for everything. I fought my sister's battles as well as my own. We had people that misused us because we were children. And my sister more so, because she was a female. But I would put my dukes up in a heartbeat. Let's get it on, baby. My mother couldn't understand that. But I just got to the point where I got tired of being beat up by everybody. I didn't care if he was an adult or not. I put my fist in the air. Let's do it. They was like, is he serious? And when I started taking karate lessons and started throwing grown men around the living room, they realized this little Negro is serious. I had to fight for everything. So when the father got me at 19, he got me before I went and took a life. I was going to take a life. And had I taken that life, my life would have been completely different. I would have been a completely different person. I know it. And the father used my sister to stop me from going to take that life. Same one I'm talking about. She's been used in many cases, in many ways, when I was about to do something way off the edge. One time, they had no idea where I was, and the angel brought them straight to me. Because that day I was about to die. They were going to kill me. And my sister and my mother showed up at my door out of the blue. Get in the car, come with us. And before I left, I was told to go back and to get my girlfriend. And I went back and I woke her up and I said, come on, we gotta go. About an hour after we left, my house got shot up. So I can't say that it's been a total wash with my sister, but in those days, she was walking a lot closer with the Most High, and I was just coming to it. I had so much rage and things going on in me. As a father, had a lot of work to do with me to get me to release it and come with him at the age of 19. And I released it enough to come with him at the age of 19. And I've been strolling with him ever since. So somewhere along the line, sister and I had a disconnect. And wherever that disconnect happened, or wherever that occurred, the breach has never been repaired since then. To the point where now we have conversations like what I've said to you. And I feel let down and alone, to be honest, because no one has been there for me. I'm speaking family-wise. On my job, my HR managers and a couple of my close confidants really know what's going on with me, while others guess. And then, of course, there's a rumor mill, and then that's on every job. But most everyone knows my mother is ill. They just don't know what I'm putting up with or what I'm dealing with. So, Mama got here. I brought her from another facility up here. And Mama has been here now, seems like forever, but she's, this will be her, she's ending her second week. The 24th will be the beginning of her third week. She just got here last Monday on the 10th. And ever since she's been here, I've been going over to see her every day. Every day. In the blistering heat, I've been going over to see her every day. When I come through them doors, they know who I am. I make it a point to let them see me every day. Going to visit my mother. On my off days, I'm there all day. On my work days, I come home for an hour, let my dogs out, change my clothes, go see Mama, and I stay with her until she goes to sleep after her dinner. And so I'm just checking my phone right now, making sure I haven't gotten any calls, because again, I haven't gotten down to that point. We're going to get to it in just a minute. And I don't care. Let me see. It's almost 10 o'clock. Okay, yeah. I should have been in bed long ago. I got to open in the morning, but I have to talk about this. I got to get this off my chest. However long it takes. Okay? Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just let me just do this. So it's like 20 minutes after 4 right now. I've been here with Mama since about 3:20 in the afternoon. I was sitting with her and she was fine, and then she started having a seizure. She had a small seizure, facial spasms, and her eyes didn't quite roll back in her head, but I could tell she was in some sort of distress. Whatever was pulling her head up, and her eyes they didn't roll back in her head, but she was like looking up at the ceiling. And she tried to tell me prior to it happening, and she felt it coming on, and so I alerted the CNA who was nearby that she was starting to spasm. And so then we got a nurse. About 45 seconds later, they came in here and they gave her 1 milligram of lorazepam. With me standing right here, in about a minute, the seizure started to subside until it finally went away. She started coughing and the phlegm was coming up and she was starting to choke on her phlegm, so I sat her up and had the CNA help me sit her up, and then I told the nurse, I want you to get in her mouth and suction her mouth out. They got a thing that gets all the phlegm out of her mouth. And then so I had a cold rag with some ice in it. If somebody's having a seizure, you get a cold rag or a block of ice and you put it at the base of the neck where the spine hits the shoulder blades. And so I had a cold rag back there. What that does is if they're flailing around, the nervous system is sending energy to all of the limbs, and so that's when you have the arms flailing everywhere. You get a cold rag or a block of ice on the base of the neck at the spine, and that shuts down those nerve impulses, and all the flailing will stop. Well, even though she didn't have the flailing, what it is your body temperature skyrockets. You know, you spike. You have a body temperature that spikes. And in some cases, when the body temperature spikes, it'll cause the spasm or the seizure. So I had that. Got some ice. Had some ice in her cup. Took some ice out of her cup. Got it in a rag. Got the rag wet and got that at the back of her neck, from the back of her head down to her shoulder blades. Started wiping around her neck and her head and her face, and trying to cool her off, because that's the main system right there. Everything's going on right here, so you got to try to cool this off. And so her spasm subsided. She was holding my hand. She knew I was here. She was holding my hand the whole time. And and that's one of the reasons why I want to be here when they medicate my mother, is because, see, like, I was standing here when they gave her the 1 milliliter, and she's alert and she's still relevant. She's not groggy. But seizures take a lot out of you. It zaps a lot, and when you're already weak, it takes a lot of your strength. So right now I have her watching a movie. Now you see me, and I've got my earbuds in her ear. I didn't bring her the headphones, and I'm glad I didn't bring the headphones this time, because she wouldn't be able to take the headphones after what we just went through. So the earbuds sit in her ear flat, so if she turns her head sideways, she's not going to feel that, pressing against her head. And these are the over-the-ear, the musician ones over the ear, and they sit right in the pocket there. So she's got the tablet going with one of her movies that she likes to see. Now you see me. And she's kind of dozing off right now. With the tablets right there, she's watching the movie. She's kind of dozing off. And that's okay. And I told her, you can go to sleep, and I'll be here when you wake up. So this is what I deal with. I got a family member. I don't want to go into that, because I'm going to say something. And but I'm here every day with my mother. I go to work full time, and then I come here. And it's hard seeing my mother in this condition. privacy. She likes looking out the window, out into the hallway at the pictures that are on the wall. Let me pull this back so she can at least see them. She likes looking out in the hallway to see these pictures that are on the walls over by her wheelchair. And I was just talking about getting her up out of the bed and taking her for a ride in her chair. But after that, hi, how you doing? I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
How's your mom?
She had a little episode a minute ago, so they had to give her some lorazepam. But she's calm now. She's alert. She's still here. She's alert. She knows you. She knows you're in the room. She's looking around. I got the earbuds in her ear. She's watching a movie.
Aww.
And then she'll drift off. She'll watch the movie. She'll drift off and watch the movie, but it's okay. So she all right.
She'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll see you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So that's my life. I work full time. I spend an hour on myself a day. The rest of the time my mama gets. I get off work, I go home with the dogs for an hour, let them out, let them run around, and then I change clothes and I come over here, and from about 3 o'clock until about 7, I'll be here with my mother. I'll feed her dinner, make sure she's okay. And I'll tell her good night, and I'll go home and tell her I'll be back tomorrow. So I asked her today, I said, you wait for me to come every day? She said, yeah. That's about all she can say now is yes and no, man. She'll squeeze my hand, she'll let me know she means more, but she can't say it. And that's about all I can give you right now, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, it's even hard for me to watch that. I just watched that, and it was hard for me to watch that. It was hard to go through it, seeing what I saw, but I'm glad that I was there because at least I stopped them from over-medicating my mother. They told me Monday she had a seizure, arms flailing, foaming at the mouth, and all that. They told me, and when I walked in the room and saw her Monday, she was looking like she did when she first got there. Tongue hanging out of her mouth, eyes rolled back in her head, clearly heavily sedated. And I went through the damn roof on her. Don't you dare do that to my mother. She got one dose. Each dose is a milliliter. She got one dose. And I stood there and watched the thing subside. Now, even though they had given her the dose, they said, because I told the doctor straight up, I want the least sedative drug that will handle a seizure being given to her. Her maximum dose is 4. So when I walk in there and see her looking like she's on Thorazine, they have given her 2 or 3. And I went through the roof on them. And I was there today. So I know how much it takes. 1 milliliter. I called the nurse came in, and I said, look at her face. She started having a facial spasm on this side of her face. And her lips started jumping like she wanted to talk to me. But when I saw her eyes start to look up at the ceiling, I said, okay, her eyes are starting to roll. I got the nurse in there, and she said, so what are you going to do? I said, give it to her. I said, it looks like a seizure to you. She said, yeah. I said, give it to her. So she took it, and it's not even the amount that's your baby finger. You know, that went right under her tongue. About 30 or 40 seconds later, it started to work. You could see the muscle spasm slowing down. You know, first it was like, you know, spasm, and this whole side of her face started to go. And then you could start to see it slow down, until finally there was nothing, you know. And she was holding my hand the whole time. She was trying to tell me when she could feel it coming on, but she started squeezing my hand like I know what that is, because Pastor Ben was with me when I was having my stroke was spiking. I had been in the hospital and they had released me, and after I had the stroke, I was having a bunch of mini strokes, and so he was holding my hand when I was getting sick, and he said, "Man, you just squeeze my hand if you and I could feel it coming, so I know what she was going through, and I know what she was feeling, and she was trying to tell me, and I was looking at her face closely, because she was the way she was squeezing my hand, she was letting me know. I could tell she was letting me know. So I'm glad that I was there when it occurred, and I got the nurse instantly. She got there. When I get off the phone here, when I get off with you guys, I'm actually going to call over there and check on her and see how she's doing. They told me we'll call you should anything occur, but before I go to sleep, I'm going to make sure. So, I'm saying all that to say, folks, you got to take care of your seniors. You got to take care of them. All right. Okay.
Yeah. No, she's good.
Okay. That's all. Okay, good. I'm about to go to bed. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. No, she's good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
So, I have trust. I tell him I have trust issues. The last place abused my mother, and so I have trust issues. That's the nurse that was in the room with me tonight, the one that administered the medication. And I told him off the top, you don't give her nothing until you talk to me. I don't care what you see. Call me. Wake me up in the middle of the night. I do not care. Call me. I'm 10 minutes away. I'm not going to ask you to wait 10 minutes for me to get there, but you let me know before you push anything down her throat. And now that I know 1 milliliter works, before you give her the next milliliter, I want to know. You call me. 1 milliliter first. Give her 1 milliliter. And wait 45 seconds to a minute, maybe 2. Because I watched the thing subside in about under a minute when it started working. And they told me, we put it right under her tongue, and it'll be, it works really fast. It's fast acting, and it doesn't heavily sedate her. And so that's the one I asked for, and that's the one I witnessed working tonight or today. So do what you have to do. Just don't go to jail. I've come close, but smart enough to know that I can't do mama no good if I'm behind bars. So I have to fight them the same way, with the same laws that they use against us. I have to go against them with those laws. So I'll be looking at some elder abuse charges on this other facility. And where she is now, she's the only person of color in there. And that's the reason why I go over there every day. Because they treat us differently. And I don't care what anybody says. Some people love us, and they don't even know why. Because we are the house of Israel. And they know that salvation is of the Hebrew first, and then the Gentile. And they don't even know why. But we're the kings and the priests to the world. They're supposed to love us. And any nation that we've ever been in, whether we've been captive or otherwise, that nation has been blessed when the true children of Israel has been there. So people wonder why America is such a superpower. Because America has the apple of the Most High's eye in their palm, and He's watching everything they have done to us. And they will certainly be reciprocated for all that they've done. I told you to be the whip for them, but I did not tell you to commit these atrocities. Therefore, you will answer to me, says the Most High. I'm paraphrasing that, but if we're going to put it in today's vernacular, that's what He's saying. I gave you my children to discipline, but you decided you wanted to rape, rob, and pillage. Okay, well, I'm not happy about what you've done. So when I come to get my kids, I will repay you for all you have done. And they know that the days are winding down and that they will be repaid for this, and therefore they're nervous. Now, there's a lot of people who don't even understand this, but they love us and they help us and they take care of us. I told you guys before, not everybody's against us, but then there are those who are of the synagogue of Hasatan, who are the seed of Hasatan, they can smell us. They know who we are, and they attack us. This attack that happened on Mom, I was explaining to someone, was a spiritual attack. It's spiritual. Because if you're on the table and you're allowing yourself to be moved around like an automaton, those demonic forces will come to you and they will move you around like an automaton, and they will use you and cause you to do things that you won't even know you're being moved. And most people, if you don't have a heart, you'll hate for no, I can't stand them, they're black. Okay, well, you find somebody who looks like that and you go hate them. There's not a whole lot of people on the planet who look like that, and you're going to travel far and wide before you find that black. So go hate on that black. So if I'm wrong for the way that I'm feeling about my sister abandoning me, because I do feel abandoned. See, when your lips are moving, it means nothing until your feet start moving and I see you come through that door. I really don't want to hear about how much you wish when you had every opportunity. Your man had money, the girl that you lived with had money, everybody had money. You could have been here. The Most High would have made a way. He would have put it on everybody's heart to get you here, everybody's mind to get you here, and you would have got here. But you said no. You said in your heart, you spoke like Miriam against Moses. And Miriam murmured against Moshe. Moses begged, Father, please, no. Father said, she got this one coming. This her whooping. She gonna take this one. Moses couldn't beg her out of it. He couldn't pray her out of it. Moses prayed and begged the Most High out of killing Israel. He said, I will kill them all and make a nation out of you. Moses said, no, Father, no. Don't have you took them, did everything you did to get them out of Egypt just to bring them out here for the Egyptians to say that you kill them out here? No, don't do that. And ruin your name and your glory and your witness. But Miriam didn't have no such luck. Moses tried to beg her out of that one. He said, she getting this whooping. And the house of Israel had to sit right there for 7 days until Miriam finished. They could not leave. The camp didn't move. They couldn't leave. Because she had to be outside the camp for 7 days. That's part of the cleansing process. So they were not going to leave her behind. So she had to be away from everybody. Let's go read the story. Moses couldn't get her out of that one. So anyway, I'm willing to take my lumps if I'm wrong, and repent in front of everybody if I'm wrong. So you can tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I'm all I'm trying to do is the best I can for my mother in the condition that she's in. And I made her a promise that I'm not going to back down from. I said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, Mama. I'm going to drop the ball on you, I promise. Care what you do to me, I'm never going to leave you hanging. Not me. I meant every word of that. Because you see, my scriptures tell me if you want length of days on this planet, you honor your mother and your father. And I did a study on honor. You guys got to go back and watch the study on honor. And I'm giving that to my mother. You know, simple things like don't uncover your father's nakedness. That's honoring your mother and your father. My father, all he ever gave me was a name, so I'm doing my very best not to trash it. That's honoring my father. Leaving a legacy with my name so that, because all I have in this world is my name and my balls. That's it. Whatever he did with the name, doesn't matter what he did with it. It matters what I do with it and the legacy I leave behind. When people say, when they say my name, I don't want them to be like, oh my God, not him. That's not the legacy you want to leave with your name. And you have a responsibility to the name your father gives you. So, even though it's a slave name, because I don't know what my real name is. I already had this conversation with a nurse. I don't know. We've been in captivity too long. The Father's going to have to tell us who we are and what tribes we're from. And that's what I'm waiting for. So, anyway, Mishpachah, if I can, I will come back through tomorrow. And we'll do this again. I hope that the audio was okay. I hope that the stream was okay. I don't see anything looking sideways and crazy. Everything looks to be okay, so I'm thinking this platform might be my new go-to. It's a little different, but I kind of like it. So I'm hoping that this is fine. Thank you to every one of you who have been checking out the channel and keeping it all alive and sharing and liking and you know, get the likes up, hit the thumbs up buttons. Gonna be moving to a newer platform. Gonna be coming away from YouTube. Some of the more critical things that I want to talk about, because YouTube has become politically correct, and some things you can't talk about if it doesn't fit their narrative. They're censoring the site. I told you guys, I put something up, and as soon as I dropped the link, it censored it. So I posted the whole article in there. Even though they censored the link, I don't think they took the post down because the algorithm wasn't looking for that. It was looking for the websites. But this artificial intelligence is getting smarter. It learns. And so there's going to come a time when, you know, a lot of content creators and people on YouTube are jumping ship because, you know, they're censoring. Facebook has already started censoring. YouTube has started censoring. And so there's another platform. When I put something up that's going to be very, 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 very controversial, I'm going to put it over there. And then I'll drop the link and you guys can go over there and look and watch it. I'm not going to, you can click on the link from Facebook. I'm not sure how I can do it from YouTube. Excuse me. But so if anybody knows how to, I might have to do a small post and then drop the link in the description, something like that. I might be able to do that. Matter of fact, I know I can do that, and then that'll get you over to it. But if I'm going to do something that's really, really, really controversial, that's where it's going to be. It's going to be over there. Because that's in a place where it won't get taken down, and it can't get taken down unless they turn the internet off, and they got the internet kill switch. These are the days. I was just talking to a lady today. She said she was a Jew. I didn't say anything. I let her speak. I let her talk. and she's going home tomorrow, and she came by Mama's room to say goodbye. So I didn't slam her, I didn't beat her up. This is something else that the Father's doing with me. He's giving me I'm holding my tongue. I don't know how else to say that, because when the other lady started talking to me over there about her belief systems, I didn't slam her either. And when the Jehovah's Witnesses came to the door, the Mormons, whoever they were, I didn't slam them either. I have a different understanding now. I'm supposed to be teaching them who we are and what their position and place is in this whole thing. Some of them get it, some of them are shocked by it, others are just completely flabbergasted and they won't come back again. But I'm not blasting them now. Father's doing something different with me. So anyway, Mishpachah, I want to tell you that you want to keep your head down and stay humble. Keep your hands up to the sky, keep praying to the Father, and don't stop, because what's coming next is going to be nothing nice. And I want to tell you that I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you guys will be able to appreciate each other and go forward on your own. Thank you so much. I'll see you later.